Hey, everybody. Are you trying to move to Seattle and just don't know what it's like to live here and what the cost of living is? Well, stay tuned because in this video, I'm going to let you know the cost of living in Seattle for 2022. Hey everybody, this is Tova Williamson, and on this channel we shoot tons of videos of what it's like to live in Seattle, Washington. So if those are the types of videos you want to see more of, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell icon and you'll be notified every time new videos come out. We honestly get reach outs every day from people that are relocating to the area and just need help. We love hearing from you guys, but we can't help unless you give us a call. So call, email, text, whatever you got to do, because we've got your back when you move into Seattle. Okay, so today we're going to talk about cost of living in Seattle for 2022. This year it's relevant. I mean, we know everywhere has been seeing prices increase due to supply chain issues and labor shortages, all sorts of things. So we've definitely felt that here in our area. So we're going to talk about what prices are like now, 2022, because they've definitely gone up over the past couple of years. One thing to note in Seattle, the minimum wage here for 2022 is $14.49 an hour, which is higher than the federal minimum wage. Still kind of low for the area when you look at housing prices and things like that. But it is, you're going to get paid more here compared to some other areas too. According to salary.com, the cost of living in Seattle is about 35% higher than the national average. I don't know what the national average is. They don't tell you. They just say it's 100, and then Seattle is like above 100. So it is definitely more expensive to live here. I think compared to other cities on the West Coast, we're not quite as expensive as like San Francisco, but we're definitely more expensive than like Denver or Miami or other places like that. So just something to keep in mind. The prices have gone up 2.8% over the past year. So definitely seen that like in the grocery stores when you're shopping, you're like, oh, this, pound of meat used to be $5 or $6. Now it's $7 or $8. So definitely seeing that around. The largest increase in the Seattle area has been in transportation, food, and housing. So we're going to break down those numbers a little bit more. Housing, we're going to talk about first. I mean, that's like the most expensive expense that you're going to have living, right? You need a place to live. Housing, I don't know if you've paid attention to the news at all, but the Seattle real estate market is like on fire. It has been for a long time. Prices have been steadily appreciating here over the past 10 plus years. The main factor is we've got really low inventory and we've got high demand. And that's continued, thinking when COVID started, like, oh, maybe the housing market's going to slump, but I mean, it's gotten worse. Like demand, there's still people moving here. Still people getting jobs and moving to the area. Interest rates are at an all-time low, so that's giving people more buying power. And then there's just no inventory, like there's no houses available. So it just creates like kind of a feeding frenzy. So the median sales price in Seattle for December of 2021 for single family homes was $845,000. That's going to get you maybe like an 1,800 square foot home and probably like a 1,500 square foot home, but that's up like 9.9% from the previous December. So we're just seeing like massive rates of appreciation here. Some areas have seen even higher rates, some lower, but it's just prices are rising, and 2022 is just kind of looking like it's going to be more of the same. There's just no inventory out there. Talking about rent, then average rent for a studio in the area is about $1,600. And a one bedroom is going to be about like $2,400. That's for an apartment. Again, if you move out of the city to suburbs, you find a little bit better prices out there, but it's still, it's still pretty high everywhere. Energy and electricity, we're about 45% higher than the national average here for electricity. Most of our electricity comes from hydro, a lot of dams in the area, and then there's some renewable and then some fossil fuels, but that's kind of our main energy source here. One thing to note, it's higher than the national average, but here the weather's pretty mild. Like it doesn't get super hot and then it doesn't get like freezing either. So you're not usually going to be running like an AC. There's not really a lot of AC here anyways. I get a lot of people that move here from like warmer climates and they're asking about AC. Most homes here don't have AC because it's just not that hot usually. We'll get like a heat wave maybe once or twice in the summer where it's like 90s and 100s and everybody's like literally melting and dying. But you just use fans and go hang out in the grocery store where it's air conditioned. But most of the year it's pretty nice. It's about 70s and 80s. Same thing in the winter. On the flip side, like it does get cold here, but it's rare that it freezes. Again, we'll maybe get like one snowstorm a year where it snows, the city shuts down, people sled down the hills. It's kind of fun, but you're not going to be needing to blast your heat as much either. So some of those areas, you're just not going to be spending quite as much on electricity as maybe some other areas where it's like super cold or super hot in the summer. So that's just something to keep in mind. Food here is about 8% higher than the national average. And I think a big part of that is people in this area really like to buy local. They like quality, meats and vegetables, organic. There's a lot of specialty food grocery stores here. There's Whole Foods, PCC, Metropolitan Market, some of these ones that have a lot of organic or just like the more natural food that's very big here. So you see a lot more of those type of grocery stores. I mean, there's still Safeway and QFC and some smaller more local grocery stores that aren't going to be as expensive as some of these specialty ones, but we definitely see that. We also have a lot of farmers markets here, which is really nice. It's really easy to eat local and organic or whatever you want. There's a lot of people with different food, sensitivities or, food, I don't even know what you call it, food fads, I guess, but so you can find all of the types of stuff that you would want to eat here. I feel like it's very diverse as far as groceries and food and eating. Like vegetarians, you can go to restaurants, like every place has vegetarian options, where some places it might be harder to find that. But in Seattle, it's really easy to find those kind of like more niche eating styles, I guess. Healthcare is another area that is actually cheaper than the national average. So this area is home to a ton of hospitals. We've got like UW, CHI Franciscan, Swedish. I mean, there's just so many different hospitals here and like high nationally rated ones. So it's kind of nice. You have a lot of options on where you want to go. It's not like there's just one hospital and that's where everybody goes. Like there's a ton of different medical centers here. There's a lot of healthcare workers here too, because there's just so many different hospitals. And we appreciate all of you healthcare workers that are probably working a lot right now during this. So thank you for all of your hard work. But yeah, so this area, healthcare is actually one of the more affordable things, even though healthcare in general is not necessarily that affordable, but you're going to get a little bit higher quality care here and at a less price than maybe some other areas of the country. Internet is, I think it was a little bit more expensive, but it's about the same. I mean, the internet here, we've got Comcast or Xfinity, CenturyLink, and then Wave Broadband is like a smaller little company. So there's a few different internet providers here, but it's like, they service one area or the other. It's not like you can be like, oh, pick between the three. It's like either one services it or the other one does. So you don't really get to take your pick, but the internet speeds here seem to be really good. I mean, Seattle is a big tech city. Like everybody uses internet. You go to any restaurant or cafe, like almost everywhere you can find free internet to use like while you're out and about. So that's kind of nice. But depending on, you can sign up with like some of the intro rates or bundle. I'd say internet's probably going to cost you maybe like $40 to $80 a month, just depending on the speeds that you want and if you bundle or whatever. But usually you can sign up with those companies at a like intro rate and you get a really good deal. So it's not too terribly bad. And I would say, I mean, I don't know a ton about like the internet and the speeds and all of that, but I mean, I just have the lowest speed and it does what I need it to do. Like I don't feel like you don't necessarily have to pay for like this super high speed because it's still pretty good here and connected. I mean, I stream and watch everything and use the internet, and I never really have issues. So I think you can definitely get away with some of those lower speeds here because it still is pretty good and connected. The last one we're going to talk about is childcare. So childcare is expensive. I think anywhere you go, it's gotten more expensive over the years, definitely through the pandemic. It's really hit everyone hard, especially in childcare facilities. So Washington State, the average that people spend in the state is about $18,000 a year on childcare. I think that probably will go up in Seattle Metro, some of the other areas. You know, if you go to a at-home daycare center, it's going to be a little bit less expensive versus like a larger, you know, well-known preschool. But it's not cheap. I know it's really tough for people. But it's definitely gone up. I think 55% since COVID, the prices have gone up. So, and it's a long wait list too. So if you're moving here and you have kids that need to be in daycare, like get on wait list now, because it can take a year or so to even get in. So you want to like start that process early. Seattle and Washington State does offer assistance for daycare. Your income, you have to qualify with your income, and not all daycare facilities take that, but that could be an option too. If you qualify to get some assistance and a little bit of relief for childcare, but it's definitely up there. Seattle or Washington State does also offer paid family and medical leave. So if you're about to have a baby and need some paid time off, or getting like a medical procedure, they just started it, I think, I want to say maybe 2020, a couple of years ago, but you can get paid medical leave. You have to put into it in your taxes on your paycheck. You have to pay into it to be able to get it out, and you have to apply and go through all of these kind of like hoops to get it when the time comes, but it's something that's new that they just started rolling out that they do offer. So that's just something to know and be aware of if you're needing to take some time off to either have a baby or have a medical procedure done. There are options where you can get some paid time off too. So there you have it. Those are the costs of living in Seattle for 2022. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully it's not too much of it like sticker shock, but the cost of living here is higher, but income is also higher too. So it does help to balance out a little bit and ease some of that pain. Moving to Seattle can be tough, especially when you're trying to find the right spot and you just don't really know about the area. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help. We want to help. We love hearing from you guys. We can't help unless you reach out. So give us a call, email, text, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when we move into Seattle.